Watertown this evening. There you have it. Unbelievable developments tonight. Shortly after the press conference, and then you had the gunshots ring out. You had officers obviously on the scene. They've got the person held up in a boat in a backyard. This is 67 Franklin Street. Neighbors were just 20 minutes earlier and said you can go out, and the lockdown has been lifted. Some people were out, and they captured this type of video. How disturbing for them, and how nerve-wracking at the same time to hear gunshots ring out once again right after they were told, that all clear was given to a point. They want you to be diligent, but they say you didn't have to stay in your home anymore. For the folks at Watertown, they've been in their homes for so long after last night. So, oh my God, today.
And it was just so interesting at that press conference with the governor as we listened to this video of shots being fired, some 20 to 30 shots fired just a short time ago, some 1 hour ago, and about 20 minutes after the governor had held his press conference. It was quiet there at the press conference, but then suddenly the entire team at that press conference swiftly moved to the new scene on Franklin Street at 67 Franklin Street, where the suspect number 2, is holed up in that boat that you see right there. He is holed up. We told he is injured from the gunfight that happened this morning where his brother was killed in a gunfight. There's worry that he may be strapped with explosives. That is a worry because not only could he hurt himself, and we don't want him to hurt himself because we want information, but he could hurt other people. We want to go to Bob Ward, who is on the phone right now. Bob?
It's Bob. I'm on live television here, and it is still a tense situation here, really still a standoff situation. You can see where we are being held back with the press. The scene where everything is taking place is a couple hundred yards in that direction. That's where the boat is. That's where the house is, the backyard, where everything is playing out. We heard the gunfire earlier this evening, and then just ran down here, myself, a couple of photographers, and we moved our live truck to get a better position here so I give you a better idea of what's going on. And we weren't down here more than just a half hour or so. Then we started hearing those explosions, about 15 of them, and now everything is just kind of quiet. It's an eerie quiet right now, waiting to hear what has happened. If the suspect number 2 is still alive, if he's going to surrender himself, what is taking place. We're a good distance away, and as I said, it's an eerie calm right now here in Watertown, just waiting, and it appears the standoff is very much still in effect. This is far from over.
Bob, I'm struck by the fact that, earlier in the week we had these vigils to the victims. We had them in Boston Common, we had them at Garvey Park in Dorchester, people coming together, and tonight we have the law enforcement community coming together in Watertown en masse and doing much, like you're saying, just standing there holding vigil, wondering what's happening in that backyard with that individual and that suspect who everybody has been looking for, putting so many resources at work to try and capture this individual, and now it comes down to this, a backyard in a boat.
Right, they've got him surrounded, and it's interesting, when they started taking down the perimeter that was set up all day long here in Watertown, we started seeing the police break down and start moving in their armored personnel carriers, start leaving, but then all of a sudden we heard that gunfire, and then out of nowhere, mostly what I saw were Mass State Police just tearing down the road, down Arsenal Street at a high rate of speed into the direction where the gunfire was coming from. We followed as best we could and ran in as best we could in time to see police officers rushing to that area. You saw the video of other police evacuating a building nearby, carrying a child, just doing whatever they have to do. They really want to get this over. Don't forget, in addition to the horror of what happened on the Marathon Monday, 3 people killed, nearly 200 people hurt. Just last night, 2 of their own were attacked. MIT police officer shot and killed. A transit police officer shot and badly wounded. They take this stuff personally. They want this over. They want to get this guy alive. And this could go all night. We just don't know.
Yeah, we're looking at more neighbors being evacuated from around that house located at 67 Franklin Street in Watertown. This is earlier in the evening as they're being taken away after gunshots rang out at about 6:25. We've had several pieces of video brought into the newsroom from people who have witnessed these gunshots. You can just see these harrowing pictures right here. And from what I understand, we understand at the moment is that these individuals are okay. They just need to be rushed out of harm's way. And certainly we hope that is the case.
This is a residential neighborhood, lots of families there, and you can imagine the horror as these 20 to 30 gunshots went off, followed by 8 to 10 explosions. And Bob, if you're still on the line, if you would describe those 8 to 10 explosions that you heard just a short time ago.
Sarah, I'm going to say it was more than that. I think it was as many as 15 because a few of them started going off. I wasn't counting them, and because it just took us by surprise. We weren't ready for it. There were 2 or 3 explosions, then a pause, then 2 or 3 more, then another pause, and it went on like that for about a minute and a half. Now, it could have been flash bombs of the state police creating some kind of diversion to get this guy out of that boat, and that's very well could be what this was, but it was not one of these instances where we got warning that there was going to be some controlled explosion, which we've heard ever since Marathon Monday. It was not one of those. It just suddenly started happening, and it was very surprising to all of us. So you've got the gunfire, you've got the explosions. I think it's amazing how these first responder police officers, they just selflessly rushed to the scene, did what they could to get people out of those buildings, trying to protect those children, knowing full well that shots have been fired, knowing full well that suspect number 2 might be armed with explosives himself. They went in there anyway to do what they could to get that area cleared out, to make sure people were safe. They put others ahead of themselves. Absolutely amazing what is unfolding here in Watertown right now.
All right, Bob, so you hang right there. We're going to go to the phone right now. Perhaps one of the neighbors in that neighborhood we've been talking about for so long, 67 Franklin Street, can shed some light on tonight's events that have taken place there. On the line right now is Evan Goodman. And Evan, explain, if you would, it's Mark Ockerblum along with Sarah Underwood, where you are in relation to 67 Franklin Street.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically my house is in the street, and we're about 2 or 3 houses up from the actual site. So what happened was the ban was lifted, and basically we had to, my father and I went outside to walk our dog to get a little fresh air, because we saw some people walking around, and we went around the corner to just talk to one of our neighbors on 2nd Street, which is parallel to Franklin Street. And while we were outside, we just see a flood of police cars coming down the street. And they're moving very, very fast. And basically, we were just told to get in the house as soon as possible. And at that point, we just heard a very, very loud pop, 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 pop. And, I don't exactly know what that sound was, but from, my experience and what was told to me, it sounded like, a pressure cooker going off. One of those kind of makeshift bombs that the Marathon bomber, used. And so we all rushed inside. We're in Center Street, completely parallel to our house, 83 Franklin Street. And that's where we are right now. We just took cover. We're on the ground right now.
Where do you think the suspect was shooting? Do you have any idea? Is he shooting out from the boat, the backyard? Do you have any idea where the gunfire was taking place?
Yeah, so basically we heard all the gunfire. From what it sounded like, it was, right on the corner, basically from behind the house. I know exactly where that boat's sitting because, he's our neighbor.
Okay, so you've seen the boat, you know the neighbor. Well, why don't you tell me right there, what's the status of the people in the home?
We don't know. All I know is that I got a call from my neighbor directly to the right of me. If you're looking at my house straight on, and basically they have a lot of SWAT team in there. They have a sniper in there, taking aim at the boat right now. So that's all that I know. And I'm looking out the window, and I can just see, a plethora of SWAT members and police officers hiding behind houses, walking into houses, taking aim at the boat, and just making sure the whole neighborhood is secure.
Incredible scene, and I'm sure so unnerving to you. What about, did you see some bloody clothing? I heard there was some bloody clothing around.
The only news that I heard of was, I didn't actually see anything with my eyes, but, our neighbor called the police officers, notifying them that there's some blood coming out of the boat, and so that's how it was kind of reported to us, and that's kind of the only thing that I know about bloody t-shirts or blood coming out of anywhere.
Repeat that again for the folks at home. You're saying that a neighbor spotted blood coming out of the boat?
That, from my understanding, that is how it was reported to the police officers, was that the neighbor whose house the boat was sitting in called the police officers and said, there's blood coming out of the boat, and that's how they were notified. That's how it was told to me. And,
your house, I'm sorry, in relation to this scene?
Right, so I'm about 2 houses up. My house is 83 Franklin Street, so we were, right in the vicinity of everything. We actually don't know what's happening in our house right now. It could have got broken into and kind of taken over by the police. Like I said, we're parallel to Franklin Street right now. All we can hear are helicopters overhead. We see SWAT cars going by, and we heard all the gunfires going off. We heard the pressure cooker going off, and other than that, we don't know too much else.
All right,
We're on the line right now, with Evan Goodman. He is a neighbor to the home that is in question here, 67 Franklin Street. We believe that the suspect is holed up in a boat in the backyard. And I want to just ask you again, Evan, on the boat itself, and the neighbors seeing the blood coming from the boat, did they inform authorities? You said they did. Was it before the shootout?
Right, so
And how long? Can you give me a time period?
How long did they notify? So they basically, from what I know, notified them a few minutes. That's how they got the tip off, was that, a neighbor called to police officers and said, there's blood coming from my boat. The police officers immediately, rushed to the scene, and that's when we were told to get in the house. And about 5 minutes after that,
Right. This goes to something that we had earlier in the night, and this helps confirm that in the fact that one of our sources had said that the suspect in the boat had been injured in a gunfight last night in Watertown. So this would go to that, because then they saw the blood coming from the boat, notified authorities, and that was the tip that ultimately brought them to this address right here, where the standoff continues. And we understand now that a hostage negotiation team has been brought in and is on scene as well.
Yeah, from my understanding, and all the information that I've gathered was, the suspect, took cover. He knew that he couldn't get out because there were, the streets were absolutely swarming with police officers. So he took cover in this boat. He was there all day. He was literally lying in a boat 2 houses down from us the whole day. And that's what we believe. We'll find out the answers later on, but it was absolutely just a scary, scary thing to think about.
I just can't imagine, for your sake and for everyone else who's there, that this is happening right there in your neighborhood. The picture that we're looking at right now is really, really dark, Evan. If you can see what we're seeing in the neighborhood, if you're right there, can you tell us exactly what it looks like around the house right now, exactly what's going on? We know a hostage negotiator is on scene, but what does it exactly look like?
So from what I can see, there were a few helicopters overhead shining pretty bright light, and there are some lights kind of shining through the houses, but I can't get a very, very good look. And my father, I can just walk him out. He said, everybody was cheering, and there's a big cheer.
Let's go live to Varsity Basketball Boy. Bob, take it.
Hey guys, I don't know what this signifies, but just heard applause coming from the direction of where the suspect number 2 was holed up. I can't see that far into the darkness. You can see how dark it is, but there was a round of applause just a few moments ago coming from that area. And I'm talking like 30 seconds ago, we heard some applause from that area. So that's the only thing I can tell you that's changed. Other than that, it has been deathly quiet out here, waiting for some word of what's taking place in there.
Well, we have private investigator Tom Shamshak on hand here with us here in the studio, and law enforcement sources. And right now we're going to go to Jared Holbrook. We'll stand by here, Tom. We're going to go to Jared Holbrook. Jared?
Well, dozens of people out here have big smiles on their faces, and I'll tell you why. Because we heard the police officers saying, suspect in custody, suspect in custody. And I reached over to a law enforcement source of mine, and I said, did you get him? And he says, we got him. And he, with a big smile and a thumbs up, he said, we got him. So,
Jared,
maybe.
That is wonderful news, Jared, and that was something that Tom Shamshak was about to tell me moments ago, but you actually had it right there for us, and we appreciate that the suspect is indeed in custody. And we thank Evan Goodman, by the way, the neighbor who was with us on the phone, who had provided all those details about what led up to it today. Again, the suspect is in custody. This is suspect number 2, we believe, for the Boston Marathon bombings on Monday. The younger brother of suspect 1, who perished in a shootout last night with police.
Again, a tense scene just wrapping up at 67 Franklin Street. As we watch the ambulance drive away, which we assume possibly suspect number 2 is in that ambulance going away. He is under arrest. Big smiles, and the cops, we heard there was a lot of applause. This has been a long investigation. The day has been incredible, with 20 shots fired, explosions, and a suspect holed up at 67 Franklin Street. A hostage negotiator came on scene, and moments later we heard there was an arrest.
Exactly right. A moment tonight where everyone cheered, and you can imagine the exhale in Watertown tonight, and indeed all of Boston and Massachusetts, and really across the country, to know that the second suspect has been taken into custody. And this is the ambulance leaving now. We understood he was injured. We were told that he had obviously injuries that were, we don't know if they were life-threatening or not, but that he was definitely compromised. They found him in the boat tonight. They surrounded him. They sent in a robot. They ultimately decided, it was time for himself to give up, and he did.
That's right. Suspect number 2, if you are just turning on right now, suspect number 2 has been arrested after a long negotiation and a stand-up outside of Franklin Street in Watertown. Let's go to Bob Ward.
What a great moment, huh? That applause, we knew that applause had to signify something, and it did. Jared Holbrook getting it confirmed. I also got it confirmed from one of the law enforcement out there.